we're doing our entire podcast playbook strategy session on Friday. You need to be part of the Soapbox to be part of that. So make sure if you're not part of the Substack Soapbox, join us. It's $79 for the whole year. We're going to be doing the entire playbook on Friday, but I wanted to just come live and talk a little bit more about podcasting on Substack. There's a lot of discussion of writing on Substack, which is amazing because, of course, it's a platform that, clearly, started off probably more like a blogging platform, newsletter platform. And it is, and it's amazing. But, and I don't know if you're like me, I definitely like to speak, do live video, do audio, do podcasting more than I love to write. And podcasting has been part of my journey of growing my business for 8 years. I've been podcasting for 8 years now. And when I first came over to Substack, I think what got me so excited is the fact that it is a multimedia platform. It is your own media company. I just want that to sink in, that Substack, if you use it to its, like, hello guys, hi everyone. If you use it to its full potential, it is a media company. It's your media hub. And what do I mean by that? It is where you can have video, podcast, written, short form written, long form written. It's sending out notifications and emails to your people. It's just absolutely incredible, right? And so I wanted to explore more about podcasting. And so when I first started on Substack, I quickly started using the podcast feature. I pretty much started using it right away. But what I didn't realize until fairly recently, and this is what I'm going to be teaching on Friday, is that the capabilities, I have chills as I say this. I'm such a nerd, by the way. I'm like such a nerd. Anyone else nerd out about this stuff? Like, I am nerding out about the capabilities that we have on this platform because it's so insane. As I started to explore podcasting capabilities here on Substack, you can do everything. You can have a public podcast. You can launch a public podcast, maybe that you didn't have before and you're launching a new one. You can take your existing podcast and bring it over to Substack, which I'll show you all the how. Like I want to talk, we're going to do that on Friday. Make sure that you're part of the Soapbox. But today, I want to bring you into my geeking outness, okay? And I know I've got a lot of you here that, yep, right. Michelle's like, I'm a total geek, nerd herd, exactly. So the capabilities are insane. Yes, from a basic standpoint, you can have your public-facing podcast on Substack, not a problem. You can, again, like I said, launch it or bring one over. Great. But did you know that you could actually have multiple podcasts on Substack? You could have a free podcast. You could have a private podcast. You could have another podcast that might be a paid audiobook. I mean, the fact that you can have multiple podcasts, private, public, but here's where things get nuts. This is where I couldn't believe it. Even on my public podcast, I can toggle a switch to whether or not that particular episode is going to be for my paid members only. So you can actually put behind a paywall, if you will, different episodes of the same podcast feed. It's insane. Okay, I've never seen anything like it. All right. Think of the abilities that you'll be able to have from a marketer, salesperson standpoint, right? I mean, and giving. of value to people, right? We all know that we're in a place. I'm going to actually share my screen in a minute. And I'm going to show you the journey that we always look at, in my business with my clients, of where Substack podcasting can fit along the journey. It's crazy. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how I'm using podcasts and podcasting across the full spectrum of my business. I think I have, I don't know, 9 podcasts, something like that. I'm going to show you. It's not as crazy as it sounds. They're not all what you normally would think of as podcasts. They're not all just front facing out to the world podcasts. I'm using podcasting across the entire client journey in our business. And I'm going to share my screen and show you that. The thing that's amazing is that depending on your business, depending on the size of your business, depending on the goals and strategies for your business, you could do it all on Substack. Or for me personally, I do some on Substack and I do some on Kajabi because I have like almost 800 clients on Kajabi. That's where our private podcasts for our clients are, right? But if you're just starting and you want to build out your whole business on Substack, you would just have your private paid podcast be behind the paywall for your members, which is so cool. It's like absolutely incredible. So I want to share my screen. I want to show you guys. Remember, when I share my screen, it's going to look weird for a second, but that's okay. Once I share it, screen share here. Okay, great. Substack. Okay. Can you guys see that? Allow this time. Okay. I think you guys can see this, correct? What you should be seeing is, let me go back over. Yes. Okay, great. You can see it. So this is, my clients know this very, very well. This is our job description on a page as business owners. This is our role is up here as business owners. And then we have our client journey underneath. Okay. And so my clients know this very, very well. We tell them to print it out, to laminate it, because there's really nothing else you have to do. Like if you've ever wondered, what do I need to do in my business? This is it. I wanted to map podcasting across the spectrum of the journey and the purpose. And then on Friday, I'm going to give you an actual playbook around this, but I'm also going to show you on the how on Substack, right? So we're going to like actually get in behind the scenes on Substack and, look at the podcasting capabilities and what you can do and all of that. Okay. So let's just orient ourselves to the journey. All right. When someone who doesn't know who the heck you are first comes across you, whether they come across you on Substack, maybe they come across you on a podcast you're a guest on, maybe you're doing a collaboration with someone and you are exposed to someone that doesn't know you at all. Make no mistake, they are a stranger. You are a stranger, they are a stranger, right? I sometimes think we really minimize how challenging this is, right? Or I think we all feel how challenging it is. I don't think we talk enough about how challenging it is because people make it seem like it's so easy, right? To get leads and to create clients and to grow your business and you just do X, Y, Z. But really, if we're really honest, when a stranger is scrolling on Substack or a stranger is, listening to their favorite podcast, if you're a guest on that podcast, those people listening are strangers to you. You're a stranger to them. You have to show up in a way that is so valuable and compelling that stranger is going to go, wow, I'm really interested in what she is saying. I always joke with my clients, like imagine, right? I have my phone in my hand. If you can see me in the corner of the screen, like when you're listening to a podcast, typically, if you're like me, you'll have your phone somewhere else. Like I'll have it on the kitchen counter and I'm folding laundry, like in another room. And if I'm listening to a podcast, if the guest is saying, yeah, so, or the host says, hey, so how can someone find you? Or what's the next step someone can take with you? And that person, is like, oh, book a call. Or that person is like, yeah, I have this free PDF or I have this thing. What does it take for you to stop folding laundry, go in the other room, and actually do whatever they said to go do? I don't know about you, but it's pretty darn rare for me that I'm going to take the action. It's got to be like really good. I've got to really connect with that person. I've got to feel like I got to go from stranger, like, cause this is the challenge. We want to take someone from being a stranger to buying from us. We all know how that goes. What we have to remember is at this day and age, in the mature market that we're in, it it is so much harder than ever to get a stranger to take the next step with us. I personally think it's a great thing because it means that buyers are way more discerning, and I'd rather be working with discerning buyers than people that are like freebie seekers and, are want the thing, want the stuff, right? So people have caught on, right? Most people don't want a PDF anymore, right? It's just the truth. So it takes a lot to get a stranger to even be curious. And then once they're curious, you've got to keep them hooked and hungry, right? You got to keep them hooked and hungry. This is our job description, by the way. So this is why I tell, again, my clients to like print it out, because your job description is to get a stranger to be interested in you, to then have that stranger who is now interested in you stay interested in you so much that their curiosity turns to movement and they're actually potentially interested, right? Interested enough to maybe get on a sales call, interested enough to maybe, buy something from you. And then we all want to be here, right? We all want to be on the delivery side because we all know that once someone's working with us, like we will like over deliver and we're going to do our magic and we're going to create raving clients. I mean, I'm sure every single person here, right, is going to create raving clients and super fans. But there are a bunch of steps before you can do that. And so one of the things that I have found to be the most effective way to bring someone across the journey and get them to move to the next steps. It's kind of like Candyland here, right? Like a game board to get them to move to the next steps and ultimately stay is audio. It is a way for people to really be able to connect with you or not. Because the sound of our voice, you guys know, I teach the Ignite Her frequencies, which is derived off of human design. I'm all about frequency. Frequency, our voice has a frequency. And when someone hears our voice, it's either a hell yes or a hell no. You ever notice that for yourself when you listen to someone? You're like, ooh, I want to hear more from this person. And we don't even know why sometimes. Like, even what they're saying might not even be like groundbreaking, but we're like really riveted and we feel this connection to someone from their voice. But the opposite happens too, doesn't it? Where you'll hear someone's voice and you're like, oh, they're not for me. Like, that happens to me a lot where I can't listen to something. I'm sure there are people that can't listen to me. There are people that can't listen to you. There are people we can't listen to. I think it's a natural protective mechanism, to be honest. I think it's an immediate qualifier is someone's voice. I think it's for a reason. I think we're meant to bring in our tribe. We're meant to bring in our people. We're meant to bring in our sliver of humanity, and our voice is the most powerful way to do that. And of course, you could be on video and voice. That's great too. But we also know that people are more and more wanting to digital detox, right? How much are you hearing this lately, right? They want a digital detox. They want to not be on screens so much. They're trying to reduce their screen time. Well, guess what they're not reducing? The listening of podcasts. In fact, women are the fastest growing segment or demographic of listeners. And almost half of women in the US that were polled all listened to a podcast within the last week. Okay, so people are listening to podcasts. I don't think that they're putting it in the same category as screen time. It's just like, who here is older like me? I'm 51. Do y'all remember going to the library and like renting books on tape? Do you remember books on tape? Or we would get books on tape. Like you would never really buy them. I mean, maybe you'd buy them. They were expensive, right? So we would like rent books on tape or borrow someone else's book on tape. And we thought it was the most amazing thing in the world that we could listen to a story, we could listen to a book that maybe we didn't have time to sit down and actually read, but we could while we were driving. It was like revolutionary, okay? And now, of course, anyone that did not live in that time is like, "Oh my God." So really, like, we have experienced this. If you're in Gen X, right? We've experienced, the not be yeah, cassettes, eight tracks. So this being enamored with the ability to listen while they're doing something else is huge. I listen when I'm on my walk. I listen while I'm, getting ready in the morning. I listen a lot, and it's why I've had success in my business. I promise you. I promise you that one of the number one reasons I've had the success that I've had in my business is my ability in the pockets and corners of my days for the last 10 years of being able to listen to podcasts and other audio formats to help me be able to learn, get motivated, take action. I promise you. And it's where a lot of people are. Are they listening to you? Right? So if your dream client, and listen, we know that readers are leaders. Well, listeners are also leaders too. Okay. So listeners are leaders. Listeners are going to be your best clients. I don't know about you, but lately I'm on this whole like focus of I just want to attract my best clients. I just want to attract the people I really want to work with, the best people out there. So guess what? They're listening, right? They're listening. They're going to listen and they're going to listen deeply and they're going to go deep in your stuff if they're meant to work with you. Are you giving them that opportunity? I want you to really think about that, especially before Friday's session in the soapbox when we go into the depth of where you could go strategically with podcasts on Substack. I just want you to actually think about your person. I want you to think about who you're here to serve. And I want you to imagine your dream client hears you on someone else's podcast tomorrow. And they're like, oh my God, I just heard Michelle. She was incredible. Like, I need more. Will there be more for her to consume? Could she go binge something of yours? Could she go and really 'cause I know me, I do this, by the way. I vet if I'm potentially interested in someone, I either go and start binging their podcast. I see if they have a book. Like, I'm not getting on a call. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to get on a call when I hear someone for the very first time on a podcast. I'm going to go poke around a bit first. I'm going to go poke around. Anyone else do that? I'm going to go poke around. I want to hear their voice. I want to see them in action. So I'll start to search and start to consume. And I have actually hit dead ends where someone I thought was, I might want to work with them. When I couldn't find them on any podcast, when I couldn't listen to their voice, when I couldn't go deeper, they were just a no for me. And Michelle and I are 2 4s. We're very discerning. It's like, that's a no. I need to vet people. Let's let people vet. This is the question I want you to sit with till Friday. Can they vet you? Can they vet you? That's what happens right here, right? So I want to go through the podcast components across the cycle. And then we'll go deeper into this on Friday. So, but I want you to get your juices flowing. I want you to get you kind of excited about this because one of the things I love about podcasts is they're so simple. Do you know that a lot of times I take my phone, Jen Rogers, block your ears. I take my phone and I use my voice recording app and I just freaking record. Listen, I'm over the highly produced shows and stuff now. I really am. I'm over it. I just want to get to the meat. What do? We fast forward across the intro. we fast forward it and then we're like, oh crap, I went too far. And then we're trying to go back because we don't want to hear it. And then Ads. Oh my God, I hate ads, right? And now we're like trying to fast through the ads and all things. I'm like, no. Or I was listening to one the other day. I had to stop listening to it because they must have taken their YouTube audio and put it on a podcast. And so it had a ton of what was it? A ton of like sound effects and all these things that maybe would be appropriate for like a YouTube short or something like that. I was like, oh, I cannot listen to this, right? So sometimes it's just a conversation. We can make this simple. I've heard a lot of people, and some of you might be, some of them be like, well, I'm not really quite ready, or it seems overwhelming, or there's a lot to do. We're going to bust through that on Friday because it's not hard. It's so simple. And you can absolutely just, voice record. So like I had a brand new podcast come out called Substack by Design. And the first few episodes, I had a little bit of an intro and outro just for like when people first find me. And then I stopped it. Right. Because once you're on episode like, 15, I mean, you know who I am now. You know what, you don't need to keep listening. So you can use it strategically, like maybe the first couple episodes just so people get to know you and then you can let go. It can be easy. It can be simple. And I want you guys to just be able to just talk. Just talk to your people. Talk to this person. Talk to the stranger. Talk to the curious prospect. I talk to my clients every day. I do a daily podcast for my clients. And they know it's going to be on the voice recording app and they're going to hear my dogs every once in a while. Or when I move a piece of paper, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I want you guys to really be, and to know that your people don't want it to be perfect either. Okay. So just know that the simplicity of it is so powerful. And you can do it multiple ways. I shared this recently in our content strategy on the soapbox for, how to do content each week on Substack that can be very simple. And one of the things I shared with everyone was go with what comes natural first. If writing comes natural to you, write first and then make a podcast from what you wrote. I go the opposite way. I speak and then I take the transcript and I put the transcript into an article. And then I also do a live. So that's what I'm doing this whole week. So yesterday, a podcast episode came out about this. I'm doing a live today. Tomorrow, an article will get published, all the same topic. And then on Friday, we're doing, the soapbox is the paid membership. So Friday, for my paid audience, I'm doing the deeper dive, how to, giving a playbook, all the things. Make sense? It's like very cool. So I love this strategy and I love this approach, and I grow my paid audience every single week doing it this way. And it's not hard, but just start with what comes more easy to you. Is it easier to write? Is it easier to go live? Is it easier to get behind your mic or your voice recording app and speak? Start where it is the easiest and where it flows, and then you can do all the rest of it. Okay? So good. Oh, I'm so glad you love the daily frequency. So the daily frequency, if you're not a client of mine over in Ignite Her, that's the daily podcast, and I love doing it. I love it, and it does feel like a conversation, and I do feel like I get to connect with my clients on a daily basis. It's very important to me. So let's start with the flow. So of course, you could have a free public podcast. That makes a lot of sense for strangers, right? To be able to find you. We'll talk a little bit more about this on Friday of like setting up your private, your public free podcast on Substack, how to connect a prior one if you already have one. And this is great. That's normal. And this is what probably most people think about when they think about podcasts. They think about the kind of the free public podcast. And that's fine. But we want to also consider getting more like curated in using podcasting in other ways. So what do I mean by that? When someone stumbles upon your free public podcast, I don't know, they probably aren't going back to the beginning. Maybe they are. It depends on how many episodes you have. But like for me, I had a podcast forever. 8 years, right? I mean, people aren't necessarily going back to the beginning. Um, I want to actually, yeah, we're gonna do that on Friday, the step by step. So the the thing that's so key is when someone is now interested, we want to actually curate something for them. We call it bingeable content in my world, but creating bingeable content that is very curated, so that someone that now goes from being a stranger to curious, you're actually sharing your convictions, your beliefs, what you teach on, maybe some client testimonials. You're talking about what you offer, and you're really bringing them through a journey using audio to then take the next step with you. And this can also be an audiobook. So, for example, I am going to be putting the 50 Not Finished audiobook on Substack for my paid members. I can do that. I can create, and so that would not be something I would keep adding to. I would record it, probably either in sections, or I would be doing, chapters, depends on the length of things, I guess. And I would put that in a private podcast for my Substacks. I can't wait. I can't, we're relaunching the book 50 Not Finished in the fall. So once it's been rewritten, I will record the audiobook and I will put the audiobook on Substack for my paid listeners. Now think about this. Now, because here's what, guess what? I don't really want Audible to take all my money, and I don't really want it on Audible. Just work with me on this. Think for a moment. Think about Audible is over here on another app. They pay, you get like almost no money, by the way. It's really not a lot. And they come over to Audible, and maybe if you did it right, you're like, hey, if you want the resources, you guys heard this 1,000 times, right? If you want the resources that go with this audiobook, go to www, right? And like now, in order for that listener to ever get connected back to you, they would actually have to go over, right? And do what? They would have to actually go and type in that, get on your email and all things. Like, why? Why not have it in a place where you know who they are? You can connect with them. You can give them more content. You can you can actually charge whatever the heck you want for it right here on Substack. So good, right? I love it. I'm so excited about it. So you could absolutely do that. Um, Yeah, you don't have to, don't worry about how you, well, Pauline, if you're in the soapbox, we teach you how to set up everything in Substack in the soapbox. It's already there. On Friday, we're going to be talking about podcasts. Yep. So I would start going through that material because we go step by step of setting up your Substack, which is so fun. So yeah, you could have your audiobook, which is huge. A sales podcast. What's a sales podcast? You could have a podcast just about your program, just about your offer suite, just about what you offer. So that when someone's ready, you can say, hey, before we get on a call together, why don't you listen to this 5-part private podcast? It walks through, all about what I do, how I do it, how I might be able to help you. And you could even have client testimonials in there and all the things. And then they're coming to the call. They might listen to the podcast and be like, yeah, no, this is not for me. Great. No one wastes anyone's time. They might listen to the podcast and be like, let's go. Right? Like I'm all in. You can use podcasts for sales, warming people up. And then one of my favorites is private client only podcast. My favorite. I do the daily frequency every day, but also for people that are in my programs, we take the recordings of my live trainings each week and we put the audio on a private feed. So they can listen when they want. They may not have time to sit down in front of a computer or watch a video. Instead, they're listening to it and they're catching up that way. People love it. When I'll be doing it's kind of a sales, I guess, a sales podcast. When I do my free master classes, not everyone can attend live, of course, and not everyone wants to sit and watch the replays of that either. So I take the audio and I put it on a dedicated feed for the masterclass. Audio has like I don't even I would have to go back over the last 3 years and do the 3-year compounded growth, but my business started to explode when I started bringing these two elements into the mix. Bingeable podcast at this stage, sales podcast at this stage. Like we're talking triple digit, maybe even 4-digit growth. Like that's how insane. And I attribute so much of it to podcasting. It's huge. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to stop sharing, come back over. Here's what you can do. So Pauline had a great question. If you really like are interested in, starting to set up your podcast, and all that, if you're not quite set up on Substack yet, like where you want to be, then get into the Substack soapbox. We have an entire starter guide and step by step with video of like how to set up your Substack, which is, it's not hard, but just knowing the lay of the land and how to do it is very helpful, right? And then Friday, we're going to have a podcast playbook so that we can look at how to set up these podcasts, how to start a brand new one, how to bring one over, how you can set up different ones. Like you can actually toggle and set up multiple ones, right? Right now I have 2 of them in Substack. I'm sure there'll be more soon. But it's and how you can adjust the settings so that sometimes an episode goes to everybody, sometimes just to your subscribers, sometimes just to your paid audience. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So, and it's free. Have we talked about that part yet? That it's free. Like that's insane to me. I can remember, I mean, it's not like it was crazy. It was like $20 a month for Libsyn when I was starting my podcast and 8 years ago and paying $20 a month and whatever. But that amount went up when I added additional podcasts on, right? And Substack's free. Substack's free. So you can start your podcast and not have to pay anything. Like that's awesome, right? Like talk about making it so simple for people. Perfect. Erica said, I want to start a second one in Substack and only want it to go to paid subscribers. It's so nice. It's so beautiful. Yes. So good. So make sure and don't worry too, if you can't attend live, on, Friday, we will record it as well, of course. Okay. I have a private podcast on Transistor. I can transfer it all. I don't need to just, yeah. So as long as there is an RSS feed and you can transfer things over, yes. Yep. Yep. Which is so cool. So cool. Yes. If you're a paid subscriber, then you have the soapbox. So yeah. So if you guys just go, you're new to Substack. Okay. Gotcha. You're new to Substack. Let me show you. So just so everyone knows where to go one way or another, whether you are already a paid subscriber or not. Let me go over to Substack just so that you can see it. Got to turn my voice down on my because I will actually be live on Substack when I share. All right, let me go over. Okay, I know it's going to look weird for a second. Okay, you guys see this? Yes, I think you can. Okay, so let me go over to here. So when you are on the main site, and I'll drop it, you just go to the Substack Soapbox membership. If you are already, and I'll drop this link in for everybody. If you are already a Substack Soapbox member, then you have access to everything down here. Okay. So you'll scroll, you'll see all the things you have access to. Substack 101 training, run your profit map, Substack strategy, my Substack strategy on a page. We've got the Substack paid tiers training, the Substack soapbox system, everything's right here. Okay. The other place that you can find it is membership content. kind of in two spots, okay? I'm just gonna drop the link in. I hate that it shares like that. Um, this is then how you know if you need to upgrade or if you already have it, okay? Um, does it provide analytics and have all the options? But yeah, so we'll do a look-see at the kind of analytics. The thing that I love about the analytics is I find it more valuable than anything Libsyn could tell me personally, but it depends on what you're measuring, right? Like, so for me personally, what I'm looking at and what I want to know, Substack is giving me a better view than Libsyn was. So we'll look at that. We'll go to the dashboard. We'll take a look at that on Friday, and then again, it depends on what the metrics you care about, and seeing if it supports that. But for me personally, I'm finding it's much better because I get to really see. And because here's the thing, I don't know who the hell is listening on Libsyn, right? Like, because there's no individual data there, right? I don't. It's different, but here on Substack, it's you can see open rates and things like that. So it's pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Look at that, talked for 40 minutes. Um, founder member is the lab. So the founder member is how you can like, I hate the word founder member. Like, I don't even know why Substack calls it that. My highest tier is actually joining us over in Ignite Her Lab. Okay, which is where we're teaching, our Ignite Her frequencies. We're going deeper in marketing and business and all of that stuff over there. Okay. You won't need that for setting up Substack though. Okay. All right, my friends. It was so good to see you all today. Hopefully I'll see a bunch of you on Friday or catch the replay. Any questions, let us know. And have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.